How's everyone doing? Welcome to the final episode of After the After Hours with your boy TraderPrad. The final day of this week is tomorrow going to be a free fall Friday. Now get ready for tomorrow. Powell going on the microphone. Powell going on the microphone again. Get ready for tomorrow. So I do have a watch list ready, but if you guys are ready, hit that like and subscribe. Hit that like and subscribe. Thank you guys for all the love. Thank you guys for all the support. Started. Why don't we dive into the full screen and hit that like and subscribe. Welcome back, baby. We're here. TraderPrad's locked and loaded. We're gonna talk about all things FOMC, all things market moving today, and all types of fun that you could have had today, all types of fun that you're gonna have tomorrow, and for the rest of the week, baby. So welcome. We're gonna prepare for the market. How did you guys do today? Let me know in the chat. If you're on Twitter, if you're on Twitch, say hello. Don't be a stranger. Already know my YouTube chat usually talks to me, so I can't wait to talk to you guys over there on the YouTube side. But yeah, how did the market feel like for you guys today? If you traded, if you intraday traded, if you swing traded, or if you were just sitting on cash and watching your investments moving around, what happened today, right? So QQQ, S&P 500, SPY looked pretty strong off the open. We got above the all-time high, but then later on in the day we broke down. So exactly what we planned for. The breakdown to the downside the day before FOMC, not expecting the market to be ridiculously strong, also not expecting the market to be ridiculously weak. So SPY basically moving down a little bit, QQQ flushing down a little bit, but still ending green today, barely green, but still ending green on both of those markets. How can we take advantage of these moves tomorrow? Off of FOMC. That's the main point of the stream today, getting ready for all things Papa Powell, all things interest rate decisions, and all things market. How can we take advantage? What are the possible trade scenarios that can what are the possible permutations in the market that we can imagine and set up for? Along with that, we have some stocks that have been moving around recently that are on the watch list. We'll go through some of these names over here, prepare for some of them for tomorrow, and see if we can make some money regardless of FOMC. Because sometimes FOMC could be a nothing burger trade, but tomorrow is one of the big FOMCs until the next FOMC, right? Because in the next FOMC, we might get another interest rate cut, we might get an interest rate pause, we might get an interest rate hike back. We don't know yet. But tomorrow, one of the biggest interest rate decisions out there in the market for day traders, for swing traders, for interest rates, for housing market, for the energy markets. Lots of crazy things are expected at 2 o'clock, and then once again at 2:30 when Powell gets on the microphone. We got a couple people in the chat over here. Let me quickly bring them in. We got Dieter. What's up, Dieter? Dieter mentioned that he did not trade today. He had to work. Understandable. But hey, making money either way, right? Even though you were cash on the market, you're making money on the other side. So let's go, Dieter. Love to see it. TH is in the house, but today TH is not first. TH is actually second. TH falling asleep over there. TH, come on, man. You're slacking today. You're slacking, but always lovely to see you in the chat. If we got other people in the chat, say hello. Don't be a stranger. Don't be a little stranger. Head into the full screen. We got Victor in the house. What's up, Victor? Ooh, my StreamYard. There we go. We got Victor in the house. Today morning, I had a great stream with Victor. If you guys haven't checked it out yet, go check it out on his YouTube channel. You can also watch it on my channel, whichever one you prefer. But Victor H Investing, amazing person over there that I got to meet on stonks.com. He had me up on his stream today about an hour or so, where we basically went back and forth on our trading methodologies. He's an investor. You know, he buys shares and holds them for the long time, or he sells shares and he holds them for whatever his net target percentage is. He looks at market a completely different way, very Buffett, very Charlie Munger-esque, very Berkshire-esque way, which makes sense, right? It works, so if it works, why break it? Very Berkshire-esque methodologies of investing. Got to learn a lot by being on Victor's stream today. Make sure you go check out. I'm actually going to post the link in our chats over here. Go check out the stream. I also have the stream, exact same stream, streamed out on my channel for those of you interested. But make sure you go hit the subscribe on Victor's channel. Amazing guy if you want to learn about investing. He streams every single day, every single market day at 9 a.m. where he talks about how he might be repositioning his portfolio, how he might be adding to his portfolio, and so on. Amazing information over there. Me, as someone who now has a little bit of extra cash sitting on the side, I am for sure looking to spend more time in his chats, learn about investing a lot more than I already know, obviously because I'm a day trader first, right? I'm a day trader first. Would love to put what I know and what he can teach me into expanding my net worth. So let's do it, baby. Let's do it. Thank you, Victor, for having me on stream today. TH got his YT alert after Dieter. Angry face. Well, looks like Dieter doesn't even have alerts, TH. Dieter does not even have alerts. He just opens YouTube 30 minutes before the stream starts, he says. 30 minutes before the stream starts. Thanks, Prad. The stream was great, and I learned a lot as well. I appreciate those comments, Victor. I appreciate those comments. Something I want to talk about outside of the trading sphere. Look at this awesome new tool that Neuralink got approved for. I don't follow Neuralink, that's surprising. The Neuralink got approved for by the FDA. It's basically a vision enabler. If you have bad vision or if you have been blind in both eyes, you can now get this added tool along with the Neuralink that can enable you to see at first low resolution, almost like Atari graphics, but eventually have potential to see normal vision and then better than normal, better than 2020. Maybe you can start magnify zooming into 100x and so on. Perverts are gonna have a heyday with that zoom capabilities. But the zoom capabilities, along with that infrared, ultraviolet, even radar wavelengths, like we're talking like Star Trek style goggles that you can slip onto your face that not only enable blind people to see first, but eventually even see wavelengths and colors that previously were not able to see by human naked eye. I mean, technology right now is getting absolutely batshit crazy. Shout out to Neuralink for their first breakthrough, which is being able to give someone who can't even use a mouse the ability to use a mouse. And by mouse, I mean a computer mouse, not a real animal mouse. You know, that was a big breakthrough, and now another breakthrough over here for Neuralink, just changing humans at this point and making humanoids that are better than human. This is transcendence at its best for humanity, or this is us becoming aliens. This is basically the one step closer to becoming an alien ourselves. We're no longer gonna need our own eyes, no longer gonna need our own nose. We're gonna have just Neuralink putting parts on our faces, on our body, and we're just going to be a superhuman at that point. Pretty interesting overall. I love seeing Elon Musk completely change the world with every single idea that he comes up with, and right now that is a monster thing that he's done. So shout out to him again. I mean, wow. First you have rockets that return back to Earth and land by themselves. Then you have people who are paraplegic and can't use computers or phones now have the ability to use computers and phones. And now, oh god, oh god, oh shit. Why do I feel like I need to sneeze again? Excuse me, chat. I apologize for that. So, you know, shout out to Elon. Shout out to Elon is all we can say. Why don't we head over to showing you guys what's on the watch list for tomorrow, by starting with taking a look at the earnings board. The earnings board is a little dead once again. I know I say it almost every single day at this point, but the earnings board is actually dead. We do have a name tomorrow in the pre-market that'll potentially set up for a trade. That is General Mills, GIS, a boomer name. Then we have FDX, FedEx reporting tomorrow after hours. Make sure you tune in at 8 o'clock for that to take a look at FDX. Lennar, a home builder, also something that I like taking a look at. So we'll read both of their earnings reports tomorrow at 8 o'clock and then see if there's trades on them. But tomorrow pre-market GIS, keep an eye on that one. Along with that, we do have our pretty much a copy of yesterday's watch list, along with a couple stocks added over here. The three stocks that we added to yesterday's watch list is HA, GIS, FLUT, and LUNR. Besides that, it is basically the exact copy of yesterday's watch list. So today's stream is going to be a little bit quicker than yesterday's stream because most of the levels that we're going to be planning out for are going to be pretty much around the same ballpark. So let's start with the top of the leaderboard, top of the list. HA, Hawaiian Airlines, got beat down with the whole Hawaiian wildfire that took place not too long ago, and then had a nice bounce on it. I mean, that was a beautiful spot to buy up this position. Hawaiian Airlines, Hawaiian Holdings, actually. Hawaiian Airlines is the product that they have under that holdings company. Previously got announced that they were going to get acquired by Alaskan Airlines, if I remember. Actually, let's go quickly find out if it is Alaskan Airlines. Yeah, Alaskan Air Group buying out Hawaiian Holdings for $18 per share. And I think at some point today, it got announced that they are approved. So the stock went from being in the $13 to $17 range to shooting right up into $18. And most likely tomorrow, I think that was also part of the article, that this stock is actually going to delete from the market tomorrow. So looking to see if there's an opportunity to scalp a penny or two, if there's an increase of volume over here on the stock going into $18. The idea is the stock should not trade above 18, so you basically try to get short $17.99, get short $18, and look to see if you can get that $17.98, $17.97 fills on the downside. The books are going to be thick. It's not necessarily a trade that retail traders who have ridiculous fee structures to get in and out. For example, if you're in Canada and you trade with a bank in Canada, you pay $7 to get in and $7 to get out. If you're not making at least $7 in that 1 cent spread and that 2 cent spread, then this trade doesn't matter for you. It doesn't make sense for you. This trade is more for people like me who don't really have fee structures. We even get paid sometimes for providing liquidity because I work with a prop firm, and you know, we have better connections. We have all the gateways in the world available to us, and they want us to provide liquidity. So when we provide liquidity, we get something called as a kickback or a rebate given back to us for providing liquidity. So looking to implore let's stop trying to be fancy. Looking to apply some of these tools in my backpack over here to take advantage of the stock, which is most likely getting delisted tomorrow from the stock market as it's getting acquired by Alaskan Airlines. If you own shares of HA, most likely you will get $18 per share in cash on Monday morning or Tuesday, whenever that thing settles. Or you might get shares of Alaskan Airlines. I don't think you will get shares of Alaskan Airlines because they're buying the shares of this position out for cash. If they were buying it out for a share transaction, then I believe your shares actually would have ported over. If you X amount of shares for HA, now you have X amount of shares of Alaskan Airlines instead. However, for how many ever shares of Alaskan Airlines you hold, it will be closing at $18 and you will be getting a nice $18 per share deposit into your account. So keep that one in mind if you are watching. Maybe you want to get long into 1790, 1792. If by any reason tomorrow the stock is opening into 1790, 1791, 1792, maybe you want to get long into those prices and enjoy that free ride back into 18, because the stock should not trade more than a 3-cent spread tomorrow or 2-cent spread tomorrow. It's going to be tight. It's going to be very, very liquid. Maybe not liquid in terms of the volume it trades, but it's going to be very, very liquid, meaning you're going to see the level 2 just absolutely filled with size, filled with tons of size, and it's going to be a battle for fills. Battle for fills. GIS, General Mills. If I remember correctly, is General Mills the one who makes Lunchables? Is it? What does General Mills make? Oh, so mainly Old El Paso, mucho fun tonight. Mainly breakfast stuff, but also a bunch of other stuff in there. Betty Crocker, Cheerios, Pillsbury Doughboy, Hamburger Helper, Reese's Puffs. Okay. Häagen-Dazs is General Mills. Okay, we love Häagen-Dazs. You know, my fat ass loves Häagen-Dazs, obviously. But what I was going to compare this to is the new product that our friends over at Mr. Beast and company have come up with to rival these Lunchable products. So right over here, Logan Paul, KSI, who are the team behind the Prime bottles, and the Feastables, which is obviously Mr. Beast's chocolate bar Feastables, they are competing with Lunchables, which are the Ritz crackers, Lunchables that you usually get with the Capri Sun and so on. But instead, you can now feed your kid an energy drink, a chocolate bar, and basically the same Ritz cracker breakfast or a pizza breakfast that you decide that you already been feeding your kids, I guess. Basically, does this come with a side of Ozempic? Like, what are we talking about these days? You're talking about giving a Prime bottle every single day to a kid, a chocolate bar every single day to a kid, and Ritz crackers and pizzas every single day to a kid. You're just asking the kids of America to be absolutely fat and have Ozempic every single day taken. But surprisingly enough, if you look at the statistics, this is crazy. Surprisingly enough, if you look at the statistics, the Lunchables have 7 grams of protein, whereas the Mr. Beast package has 9. The calorie count is almost 100 below. The electrolytes, you get a lot more because you don't have electrolytes in Capri Sun, but you have electrolytes in these stupid Prime bottles. And the overall sugar content of the Lunchables box is about 22 grams per package, whereas a Lunchable, Lunchly, sorry, which is the Mr. Beast one, only has apparently 10 grams per package. So I'm not sure those numbers are correct, but it's crazy to see that something that looks more unhealthy is apparently a lot healthier than what's already being given to the market. That's crazy to me. Not that it matters anyways. GIS not really competing with the big YouTube trio. I think the company who makes Lunchables? Kraft Heinz, there you go. So the company really competing with their competition against the YouTube brands K8Z, Kraft K8Z, is obviously Kraft Heinz with their Lunchables products, and looks like it's taking a little bit of a dive to the downside. We'll see how much of market share do they actually take away from K8Z by launching that new product. Either way, not a problem for GIS. GIS in its multi-year high area, sorry, not multi-year high, at its March high. It's also not at, okay, it is a 52-week high. Okay, I was going to say 52-week year high, but then I corrected myself. So we are at the 52-week year high over here, getting above one of the most recent earnings high. So that's around $75, $76 over here. Getting above $75, getting into $76 to the upside just before its earnings report. We also have FOMC tomorrow, so any gap up to the north side will be interesting to keep an eye on. This stock has been on a monster rip ever since July of 2024, or 20% to the upside on GIS. Obviously not really looking at financials or all the other financial jazz that that you might want to keep an eye on. But we as day traders, only thing we care about is price action. We want to see, can the stock stay above previous highs and show us buying above previous highs to get long. If the stock is ripping too far to the north side too quick, can we look for a quick scalp short and ride it back into VWAP, a nice little mean reversion trade. So looking to see how the stock sets up in the pre-market first. Does it go higher? Does it go lower? What levels can we play with? And then the velocity of the tape and everything else is going to help us out make some decisions also. FLUT, Flutter, the parent company of FanDuel. For those of my sports gamblers over there in the chat, the parent company of FanDuel now acquiring an Italian company of the same gambling realm. So obviously expanding, getting bigger, owning companies in other countries, giving them a market share in those companies, those countries. So Flutter over here breaking past its 52-week high and actually closing pretty strong. It's not at its all-time high yet, but it's getting closer and closer. Only $10-ish away from its all-time high over here on Flutter. We've seen how its earnings report. Oh my goodness, why am I sneezing so much? We've seen how Flutter on its earnings report has made an insane rally to the north side. We're looking to see if these extra catalysts pouring into the stock can take it into its all-time high. How do the dips react on any pullback into the previous 52-week high, which is around $226? Do we see buying coming in at $226 and so on? So keeping Flutter on watch. Do note that there's a note that the stock is crazy expensive for how much volume it does. 2 million volume for a $200 stock is not necessarily something to be very happy about, but as long as it has over 1 million shares, you know, you have an opportunity to take a trade over here. But be ready for illiquid opportunities. It's going to be choppy. It's not going to be very clean. The highs are not going to be to the penny like sometimes some stocks like Nvidia or Tesla show up as. Meta, for example. It's not going to be to the penny clean. It's going to be a little choppy, so you have to be ready to withstand the wiggle if the stock moves past the stop a little bit. Not saying that you have to be able to hold it $3, $4, $5 against you, but you have to be able to withstand the wiggle below 226, maybe to 225, at least a dollar wiggle where it might try to burn stops and so on if you get long in front of the 226 area, just because there's a flat line there. I ideally would like to see it get below 226 and then get back above 226 and then start making a higher low above 226 for me to even think long. So understanding the concepts of being on the right side of the V, right side of the V, understanding the concepts of the right side of the V, the expected value is always greater on the right side than the left side. On the left side, you're generally buying the stock at that level. Let's say $100, right? You simply throw an order to get long at 100 because you have a line at 100. But the better trader waits for the stock to get below 100, show a bottom at, let's say, 99.80, 99.70, and then as it gets back above 100, now you have a defined stop. Now you know exactly how much shares you can take in this area. Over here, you don't really know what your stop is. You might even punch out, make the low a day, and be like, oh no, I got triggered at the low a day. Oh no, I suck. And then you're too hesitant to punch back over here because you don't want to lose more. So never on the A side, always on the B side, right side of the V concept. So any dips under 226, I want to see how they react. Do they get bought back up and have an opportunity to rip to the north side? Let's talk about PLCE. We were talking about this stock on Victor H's investing stream today. That was a lot of fun. You know, we called out this 1550 level. Look for a breakout above the 1550 level, and exactly into that said price, the stock gave you a perfect, picture perfect bull flag to get long into, and then on dips also held that level right there into $15.43, which was last week's high, the Friday's high that we were watching for. The stock rips to the north side, makes a bull flag into 1540, rips above 1540 to almost $17. Well, not almost, it rips into $17, pulls back, holds above 1540 for almost 30 minutes over here, and then goes right back into day's high. A picture perfect play on Children's Place. More shorts being trapped, the volume coming back into the position, which is what we want to see. The longer the stock stays above this 1540 area, the more traps are going to be sprung on this position. More stops are getting bursted out, and the squeeze is just beautiful to keep an eye on. Beautiful squeeze to keep an eye on. Obviously, some of you might be wanting a GME type squeeze on this position, but you know, we don't know where the stops are. We don't know where the shorts really built into. In my opinion, all of these shorts are already out of the game. It's these shorts over here who are now piling in on the way up who are getting bursted out. So you want to see the stock pull back, trap people in this range, and then have them stop out for an even bigger burst out move. So right now you have a beautiful range between $18 on the high side, which is today's high, and then you have 1550, 1540, which is that previous day's high. Actually, it was 1540 right there, which was the previous week's high, the Friday's high, and then you also have this consolidation high right around that same price. So 1530 to 1550 almost, keeping an eye on to see if the stock can find buying above here. Then you have that $18 area. The longer we spend in this range between 1550 to 18, the more explosiveness the stock will have to the downside into 1150, or even to the more higher upside, bigger gains coming in as we keep shorting squeezing the shorts. Another name over here in the squeeze basket, LUNR. LUNR doesn't really look like it's squeezing anything at the moment, right? Doesn't look like it's doing much, but if you look at it here in the after hours, we got an insane run up. Decent volume on LUNR and an insane run up, almost up to $9 over here. So if you just zoom back out on the daily chart, you can see how $9 is all the way in these prices where the stock last time hung out in. So going crazy one more time, LUNR, make sure you have this one on your watch list. ASTS, I thought we would see 32 not coming into play. We're still holding above 27.50. So watching this one, but not as interested in that position as I am in SMMT. So looks like the backside in SMMT has finally been put in. It's not confirmed yet until we pull back and find rejections at today's high. Ideally, I want to see rejection at 27.50, 27.40. I don't want to see the stock above this price. The reject around this price would open up room into $24 and more room to $20 if we actually see reject at 24.50. But it could easily go above that to go test Monday's low and today's high, which is around the same price, technically around $29-30. So if the stock does manage to go past above $27.50, I'm watching around $29-30 to see what happens. And for the downside, I'm looking for the day one anchor VWAP, which is around $24, and also this day's low around $24 to get tested as a support. We have ranges right now, and if the ranges play out exactly as I'm imagining them to, there could be a full backside opening up on SMMT. We had an insane run up. Now we're getting failure to follow through on any pops. Any pop that gets stuffed below, once again, 27.40. If we pop it to 27.40 and the stock rejects from there, that's setting up a failure to follow through. This is where you get short into 27.50 with your risk above whatever the high was, above 27.50. Then you ride it into today's low. Now you're analyzing and studying the tape at today's low. If it's being strong into today's low, maybe you start taking some shares out. But if it's being weak around today's low, then you can look to add more shares on that breakdown, have it ride you down to $24, at which point you can decide to make more decisions, either to cover more shares, maybe to add more shorts if you're crazy enough to do something like that as a day trade. I think if it goes to 24, we might see a little bit of a stalling on this position, just to point that one out to you. NCNA, no volume today as the day one volume, but clear backside being put in, down 41%. Rugs have been pulled, so looks like the stock might be out of play and out of watch list for me. It's over. No volume today, and it's managed to pull back drastically, so that game might be over on Roblox. We got Angry Buddha in the house. What's up, Angry Buddha? Where is the Angry Buddha? Does Prad sound low to anyone? Is it low? Is my music's high? Music's at 30%. At 30%. Top Gear finale ratings were underwhelming. Still, the show will run in syndication long after. Well, are you talking about the Top Gear with Jeremy Clarkson, Richard Hammond, and James May? Because that one was amazing. But the replacement cast of Top Gear never got the same views as the original Top Gear. Mainly because, you know, people love the main cast, and they continued to follow them on the Grand Tour on the Amazon. I've never seen a single episode of the new Top Gear with the new cast. As soon as James May, Richard Hammond, and Jeremy Clarkson left that show, I was done with that show. That show died to me right away. Let's see who else we got. Haagen-Dazs is overpriced ice milk. TH, you're such a hater, bro. You're such a hater. They're gonna make so much money. I know. I mean, they've already made enough money. The Prime boys, the Lunchable boys, the Feastable boys. One thing I noticed, that my supermarket next to my work had Feastables, the chocolate bar from Mr. Beast, out in front. But then right after the whole Ava Chris, is that her name? Ava, what's her name again? His name, her name? Chris Tyson, Ava Tyson. After this guy, girl, whatever you want to call this person, got outed as a child predator and you know, messing with kids and so on. I saw that they took the Feastables and kind of shoved it in the back of the store. I found that funny quite a bit. I find that funny quite a bit. Mr. Beast still hasn't said a single word about that whole thing. I'm surprised that people are still... They haven't kind of forced him to say anything yet. I'm surprised. Kids are fat as shit these days. Yeah, does it come with a side of Ozempic, brother? Does it come with a side of Ozempic? That's the main question. God damn Feastables. I mean, at the end of the day, Feastables are basically Rice Krispies with the chocolate layer over it. I've eaten them. I don't hate them. They're not bad. If you compare it to Hershey's, Hershey's has cookies and cream chocolate bar that tastes ridiculously good, and Feastables has a very similar cookies and cream chocolate bar that also tastes ridiculously good. But one of them tastes way lighter than the other, which is the Feastables. It tastes way lighter. You're not as bloated if you eat the whole bar compared to the Hershey's bar. There might be less sugar, there might be less sweeteners in the Feastables bar, but it also costs 3 times more, if I remember correctly, than the Hershey's bar. So it's it's, if you're just comparing chocolate to chocolate, I would much rather go for the Hershey's because you're getting more chocolate, more sweet for the less price. But it is what it is. I personally don't really care about chocolate as much as I used to anymore. Feastables, not a bad product. I just think it's crazy expensive. Roblox, we were talking about this 4750 area. Looks like a little bit of a reject in front of 4750. I'm just gonna be patient. No need for me to make a decision on this trade until 4750 pops up. So be patient on this one. Oracle 170, we actually got stuffed below 170 on Oracle today. You can see how that was basically the high today. 170.50 was the high on Oracle. So watching how 170.50 reacts tomorrow on any pops. On pops, do we get slammed down from that 170 area, or is the stock able to get above 170 and have a pocket of range between 175 to 170? The stock's ATR is $5, so if it can get above 170 around the open, stay above 170 around the open, I think we easily have an opportunity to give us a $5 move over here on Oracle. Besides that, if it doesn't stay above 170, I think you got an easy short back into today's low. We also have FOMC tomorrow, so maybe the 2 o'clock juice takes the stock back above 170. Keep this one on watch without a doubt. Palantir. Big pullback on Palantir today, right off the open. Rejected from yesterday's high. Perfect reject from yesterday's high. Boom. Perfect reject from yesterday's high and pulled back into Friday's high over here. A beautiful range being formed. Nothing yet for me to get happy for. I'm still waiting for this Friday. This Friday, the stock will be added to the S&P 500 index. It's usually going into Friday to Monday morning. So if there are hedge funds who promise, for you might have a money manager, right? If you have a money manager and your money manager, your hedge fund, your investor promised you that he is tracking the S&P 500, then he, she, they, them, whatever. I don't want to get canceled for not saying a specific gender, right? They need to be having Palantir on the books by 9:30 a.m. Monday morning, or they are in violation of law. We know that the S&P 500 is adding about 10% of Palantir to the index. So when the S&P 500 goes out there and buys Palantir, every other hedge fund in the world who's actually promising you S&P 500 returns, they have to go and buy Palantir also. So there could be a little bit of juice to the upside more left in this position. Monday morning is where I am looking to short Palantir. The higher Palantir goes, the more short I'm looking to get into this position for a day trade, not an investment, not a swing trade, as a day trade. But talk about the investment side. We have Victor H Investing, who actually talked about his short on Palantir and how he is setting up on the stock based on his financials. There's a great point that he mentioned about Palantir. If you watch the stream, you can see this, but I'll kind of show you the point here itself, that Palantir is only growing by 20%, 30% a year. It's not a lot for a small company like Palantir, right? We have an 80 billion market cap. It's only growing by 20% a year. These are the same numbers that Meta is growing by, and Meta is a $1 trillion market cap, right? We have companies such as Nvidia growing by 110%, and that's what, $3 trillion market cap, 2.8 trillion market cap. You're having big companies, top 7 companies in the world report 20 to 110%, whereas Palantir, nowhere close to that, right? Nowhere close to that. At the end of the day, I, who was a Palantir investor into the low prices, I'm happy to see Palantir go higher. No longer an investor in Palantir. This Zen is kicking my ass right now, chat. We got Blind Jedi in the house. What's up, Blind? How you doing, brother? Look at that YouTube picture. That's an amazing picture. That Zen just kicked my ass. Whoa! Bigley Down Under has a pretty cool picture too. Let's put a Bigley Down Under. Look at that. He's got Trump with the is that Queen Elizabeth's hat, Bigley? With Queen Elizabeth's hat that says 15 on it? Or was that actually a Trump picture with the hat like that on? I've never seen Trump with the hat on. That's hilarious. Hilarious. I like that picture. So Palantir, I think I just leave this one alone for a couple more days. On Friday, obviously looking to trade it, and then Monday I'm looking to trade it. Dell in the same basket. Dell actually moved to that earnings day high of 118 and found resistance off of that 118, exactly as we were looking for. So watching Dell around 118 area. This is also very same theory as Palantir. Getting added to the index, you want to be a little careful shorting this position. After it's done being added to the index, do whatever the hell you want with it. Do whatever the hell you want with it. A firm 45 is a gift that keeps on giving. But with the way we're setting up right now on a firm, we're setting up for a possible breakout of 45. So buy now, pay later is getting ready for a potential breakout, especially if FOMC comes out good and the market runs up north. By FOMC coming out good, I mean we actually get interest rate cuts. Interest rate cuts come in, we get a 50 beeps rate cut, market rips to the north side, S&P 500 makes another new all-time high that it did today. We make another new all-time high. We stay strong above that all-time high. Qs make a rally to the all-time high. All the ducks and the stars and the yins and the yangs align, and a firm, I could easily see it going above 45 itself. But those don't align up. A firm back at 45 and it's finding a resistance around 45 like it did off the open. Get ready to short the stock one more time. So a firm watching what it does around that level. XLF sector. The next stock is actually Charles Schwab, but we want to talk about XLF because everyone was talking about how weak XLF looked. This is your financial sector because JP Morgan was getting absolutely smoked. JP Morgan rallied down to $200 from $225 of its all-time high and started making a descent. That started bringing XLF to the downside, WFC to the downside, Citigroup to the downside. Look at that bounce on WFC. Wow. Wow, beautiful bounce off of $50 on WFC, $4 per share now and within 2-3 days. Love to see that. So WFC having a nice bounce too. The main trade we were looking for is the breakdown below $61 on Charles Schwab. Looks like we're gonna have to be a lot more patient for that breakdown to happen. If XLF isn't weak, I can't see Charles Schwab going back down. So just the level that I have an alert into, just the stock that I'm keeping an eye on in case the sector gets weak again. Moderna, one of the weaker stocks recently, getting above the 7150 area. This was a level that we were having to watch quite a bit. Off the open, it actually found a little bit of a wiggle into that 7150. Not a short pattern at all by any means. So a long, easy long above it. You can see how later on in the day that 7150 area came into play as support, showing you that there is value behind that area. So as long as the stock stays above 7150 to $71, I think looking long over here on Moderna would not be a bad idea. But if the market's weak, Moderna cannot hold above 71. Notice how I'm not saying 7150. 71 is more that key trigger price for me now. So as long as we're staying above 71, I think looking long is not really that bad of an idea. But failing to hold above 71, get ready to get short because this could be a fail break to the north side and then sellers pile back in. They remember they did guide lower. They're talking about possible headwinds over here on Moderna, so not looking good to the upside at all. Like getting ready for a possible fail break short. This short can now be turned into a possible swing short, a possible a multi-day short if we can see proper selling below 71, below 70 tomorrow or even the Thursday after FOMC. FOMC 50%, 50 beeps rate cut. Moderna, even after the whole market going up, not able to stay above 71, $70. That is an insane setup coming into play for a multi-day swing short. So watching how Moderna sets up off of that catalyst. Now we only have stocks in the Magnificent Seven to get prepared for. I most likely am not touching most of the Magnificent Seven. I'll keep an eye on the big names such as Tesla, Nvidia, Meta, but most of the Magnificent Seven, I'm just kind of ignoring them until 2 o'clock. I don't care what they do until 2 o'clock. I don't expect the market to do a whole lot until 2 o'clock. I'm just going to focus on the earnings names, the small cap names, the names that have news behind them until 2 o'clock, and then around 2 o'clock, then I'm watching where these large cap names, where the Magnificent Seven, which is Apple, Amazon, Google, Microsoft, Meta, Nvidia, and Tesla, where these names are hanging out around, and how can we take advantage of it. Notice how this 217, yeah, notice how that 217 area that we mapped out from Tuesday's action ended up being pretty much a resistance all day today on the hourly chart over here on Apple. That 217 area, not even able to get above a single penny above 217 today. So if market's strong tomorrow, getting above 217 opens up room on Apple, but we've already seen Apple has somewhat of a negative catalyst. Victor H and I were actually talking about Apple's possible headwinds in the future. They're peddling the same goddamn phone every single day. I mean, I could pull out 7 different Android phones in my room right now, and they're all different. They're all Google phones, and they are all different. Here's 2 of them, for example, right? Here's 2 of them, for example. My current phone, which is the 6, I think, the Pixel 6. This is my old ass phone, the Pixel 3, I believe. And every single one's completely different from the last one. We've had AI capabilities on my phone way longer than Apple has had it. Apple just now getting it. So I mean, I got my doggo on the phone there. For those of you interested, there's my little doggo, Coco, right? So peddling the same damn product every single year. People getting bored of it. People getting tired of it. Apple eventually taking the beating off of that. I think day one sales of iPhone 16 were down big time year over year. So that was a big catalyst for them gapping down recently and then finding more weakness. I think FOMC should give Apple a little bit of a juice. This is the largest publicly traded company in the world. Right? So if this company is struggling, can you really expect the market to do crazy things to the upside? Not really. So some negative headwind for the overall market to the upside pouring in from Apple, but we'll see if FOMC kind of negates that completely and rallies the rest of the market, at which point I could see Apple reclaiming 217, but I can't see Apple reclaiming 224. I can't see Apple reclaiming 224. So watching how these boxed ranges on Apple setup. Amazon, we're looking at Amazon into 200. I mentioned that seller around 200 to 201. That seller being Papa Bezos himself. When the stock was around this 200 to 201 area, we got an article saying that Bezos was looking to dump a ton of shares on the upside over here. So if we do push back into 200 to 201 off of the FOMC move, and that sell program is still there, I want to take advantage of it again. But if that sell program's not there and we create a similar pattern like this, that's a breakout pattern setting up for Amazon. So watching this one going into tomorrow, I don't think we get above 200 tomorrow if we push into it. I don't think we even see 200 tomorrow. But if it does come into play, we are game on Amazon. Google, not a stock that I usually like to day trade, so I'm not even going to bother with it. Meta. Oh, we got Victor in the chat. I will sell short shares of Palantir on Monday. So he's basically talking about the same idea that I was just mentioning. How Palantir getting added over here, as you can see, effective date 23rd of September. 23rd of September is exactly next Monday. But usually they get added on the Friday, and by next Monday they're already in the index. So right here, Palantir getting added to the S&P 500, Dell getting added to the S&P 500. Here's a great example of how these stocks work after they get added to the S&P 500 index. For example, that right there, 15th December 2023, I believe, was the day that Uber got added to the S&P 500 index. Notice how that was basically the top, right? That was basically the top on the stock. And then we had a beautiful 6% pullback. Not much, but a 6% pullback for you to possibly get short into on a swing trade. That's 6% more than you had previously. However, you would have been stopped out as the stock does manage to get bullish right after. There was more positive catalyst that came out on Uber that rallied it higher a little bit more than that S&P 500 ad. Another stock that got added to the S&P 500 index a long time ago. I can't remember exactly what day it was. I think if we can Google it, we'll find out. All right, it was 2020. Haha, okay. December of 2020, right here. So right into December of 2020, that big volume candle right there was the add to the S&P 500 index. Notice how the very next same day, so Friday, it got added. Notice how the very same next day, Monday, it gaps lower and it trades a little bit lower. These are not insane long-term short opportunities, sure. But as a day trader, that is a proven setup that has worked time and time again for people to take advantage of. Stock gets added on the Friday night. On Monday morning, the stock gets sold right back down. So simple idea over there. Watching the stock rally as high as it can go. I think the announcement that it's getting added to the S&P 500 index was right around these candles. And then when it got announced, it made a 22% move. Usually 10 to 15% makes sense. 22% is a little crazy. It could be even more wild going into Friday. So just letting it do what it do, in my opinion, and then getting ready to pull that trigger for the short side Monday as a day trade. If that short ends up becoming a better short for a swing trade, swing it. Swing that bad boy. Apple is not growing revenue, says Victor. Thank you, Victor. Victor coming in and telling you guys the truth. All you Apple fangirls now understanding that you're having to buy the same product year to year, and you know, no growth at all. So no growth in product for a very product-oriented company. You could say Apple is a software company now. No, shut up. Apple is a product-oriented company. For a product-oriented company, if the product is not growing, the company's not gonna grow. So I'm expecting decent pullback. I'm expecting Microsoft to regain the #1 spot in the world. Microsoft at 3.23 trillion, whereas Apple is at 3.3. There was a brief period in the last few years where Microsoft was the largest company in the world, but Apple came back and took that title. But I can see Apple losing that title all over again, and Microsoft gaining control of that title. We have a new undisputed top valued company of the world, Microsoft. Right? So let's see if Microsoft can come in and be new. Love your stream, Prad. Nice work, man. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. I enjoyed the stream with you today, and we might actually have the great Victor H Investing on our stream here on Sunday. We're gonna try and set up something for Victor to come in on Sunday. Join us on our stream as we prepare for all things next week. Have Victor join us, have him talk about his Palantir position, have him show you guys all of his other positions that he showed today on his stream, what he's planning for the Santa Claus rally, what he's planning for the September. Generally, September is one of the red days of the year, but this September has been great. We initially got a sell-off, and then we got an immediate rip back up, so the market's basically flat for September. or even green for September. So September's looking great over here. Let's see if we get that market correction that Victor and I have both been dreaming about. Both have been dreaming about. But, you know, market looking resilient. I guess that's saying that stocks only go up is not wrong. Stocks only do go up. Very good point on the $200 per share ceiling price. Thank you, Victor. Thank you. She's here. Boo, says Ani. How's Ani doing? We haven't seen Ani in the chat in a long time. How's everyone doing? She says. We're doing great, Ani. It's good to see you in the chat. Apple no longer an innovator. I mean, they are innovating. They're innovating ways to market the same product again and again and again. If there's a better marketer out there than Apple, you know, selling the same shit in 16 different ways, name one. Name one. There isn't a better marketer out there. So maybe Apple should become a marketing agency instead of a product company. We've all seen how BlackBerry ended up being. You know, BlackBerry, the love of my life. Everyone in the world at one point owned BlackBerry. But what happened to BlackBerry? No innovation. They stuck to their product of the keyboard, which was a crazy innovation in itself. But what did BlackBerry have that nobody else had? Security. BlackBerry, one of the most secure phones out there in the world. iPhones and Androids were getting hacked left and right, whereas BlackBerries were not getting hacked. And that's something that they had, but they did not innovate on products, and they failed completely. I don't know if you guys even remember, BlackBerry used to be called Research in Motion. Now, I know none of you guys know that. Maybe Victor knows that, but BlackBerry used to be called Research in Motion, RIM, okay? But BlackBerry had a playbook. This was one of the original tablets out there that I owned back in the day. Yes, I owned a BlackBerry playbook. I had fun with it. Screw you if you're hating me for it. I used to be a BlackBerry fangirl. You know, the playbook was great, but it lacked in so many ways. That's why the Apple tablet kind of came over and beat them to death, and then BlackBerry completely dying off themselves. And that could very well be Apple's future. Apple could be in this basket. I'm not saying in the next year, right? People still fangirl over Apple every single day. They release these $700 headphones that I see actually people wearing on public transit. Are you not worried about getting robbed for your $700 headphones on public transit? Like, what's wrong with people? All right, but hey, you do you, more power to you. If you think paying $700 for headphones somehow makes you listen to your music in a better way, shout out to you, because I promise you that you could spend $300 and listen to the exact same music the exact same way with a better company who actually makes headphones for a living. Their existence was in the music industry. Sony Walkman, right? I'm talking about Sony for those of you wondering. Sony Walkman, their existence in the industry started with music. They make headphones. Instead, people want to go out there, spend, you know, more money just for the Apple brand. So Apple has something. They have a brand name. But BlackBerry had that too. Look at Victor saying Crackberry. I was addicted. Bang. Crackberry. Right? People were addicted to their Blackberries. People were playing Brick Breaker in office. They were sitting there playing Brick Breaker. I know most of you don't even know Brick Breaker, right? I used to be addicted to Brick Breaker on my dad's Blackberry all day. My OG gaming days, my OG mobile gaming days. And then you have Apple coming in, giving you Flappy Bird and ruining your life, right? Brick Breaker actually made you happier. Flappy Bird made you angrier. Right? Anyways, I think Apple could very well see a future like BlackBerry if they don't start changing their ways. If they don't start changing their ways, they could easily end up being a BlackBerry of the future. Stock's gonna plummet. I mean, If Ani called it, chat, if Ani called the stocks are gonna plummet after FOMC, I think you guys just go short. Forget about 2 o'clock. Right as the market opens, get the hell short with every single dollar you can find. You know, borrow money from your mom, put your mom's house on mortgage if you have to, and get short because Ani called it. I'm telling you right now, if you don't get short and you're crying about it, that's your fault. That's your fault. When did I ever leave? You left for a long time, Ani. You don't message on Discord anymore. Today was your first message on Discord after 10 years. You don't show up in chats anymore. No more donations in chat. You were the only person who donated, and no more donations in chat anymore. Ani hates us now, chat. Ani hates us. She has completely abandoned us, but then she comes in one random day and acts like everything's fine. Like everything's fine. September is usually bad for stocks, and October is also bad. Okay, I did not know about October, but that is good information to know. You know, history repeats itself, right? History often repeats itself. What do I type in? Monthly returns on SPY by year. I got a bar chart instead, dude. What is this garbage chart? There you go. September, October, pretty bad in 2020. September, again, pretty bad in 2021. So August, September, also pretty bad, but then October got good in 2022. June till September, we were bad in 2023. 2024, we had a little dip again in August and September and July. But right now, this year so far, September has not been that bad, honestly. It has not been that bad. So we'll see if October gets ugly in the market. We'll see if October is the one that gets ugly. Continuing down this chat, I have had AirPods with Gen 1 since the beginning. Is that the long-pronged AirPods, the Gen 1? Yeah, the long-pronged one. Okay, yeah, I got my dad these ones. What are these? AirPods Pro. Okay, yeah, I got my dad AirPods Pro. AirPods are actually innovative as fuck, if you ask me, right? AirPods are insane because they changed the game the way the iPhone changed the game. Ever since AirPods came out, now you have a lot more companies giving you these truly wireless experience and so on. And they innovated it. Innovations like that is what's going to keep Apple alive. We're not seeing that in their main product, sadly, anymore. So that's where they're going to be taking a hit. That if people don't use Apple phone to begin with, all the extra accessories that tie in the ecosystem, which is what keeps people in the ecosystem, right? They have people drawn into the ecosystem so hard that people don't want to leave it. But if you stop using the main piece of the ecosystem, then the rest of the puzzle pieces automatically fall apart, right? If you stop using the iPhone, you stop using the AirPods most likely, you stop using the Apple Watch most likely because of its compatibility issues with Android and not being able to use all the functions with Android. Eventually you switch over to an Android watch, eventually you get a different headphone, and now you're in a completely different ecosystem, right? Slowly things start to domino fall over one top of the other, and the main product that Apple really needs to innovate and peddle is the center brick of their ecosystem. It's not the Mac, it's not the AirPods, it's the iPhone. If you don't work on the iPhone in a way where you can keep people drawn to that phone, the rest of the dominoes just start falling down all by themselves. That is the problem for Apple. But enough about Apple. Let's talk about a couple more stocks here to keep an eye on for tomorrow. Tesla 235. We almost got that level to play out today. 235, beautiful reject. So off FOMC, if we start rallying higher and Tesla's getting out above 235, that's a level that you want to keep an eye on. Micron 91, again, creating a beautiful box under 91 for Micron. So keep that one on watch if the semiconductor industry starts to rally up to the north side. Last one in the semiconductor industry, notice how I'm not talking about Nvidia, because Nvidia is still very choppy around this 117 zone. I'm not really too interested to make a trade around this pocket. But Intel having another rally to $22 and then rejecting around 22. Today's high was 22.50. There was a moment of time on the day where 22 was actually holding on the bid for support. You could have gone long above that right here. You could have gone long on the hold above 22, but you would have only gotten 50 cents out of it. The short off the open on the fail above 22, and then the short later on in the day on the fail near 22 was basically the short if you were looking for, or the trade that you were looking for. But with the way Intel is setting up at the moment, it could start getting ready to close a little bit of this gap to the north side into $29-30, and for that you want to see the stock holding above 22. If 22 is not holding on the bid, then expecting the stock to go higher is ridiculous. It's just crazy. So be a little careful if you're looking long as a swing trade, as an investment, whatever it is. If you're swinging the stock, know that you're not wrong on this position until it gets below 18.50. So your stops ideally need to be below 18.50. So you're risking about $2-4 to the downside. You better get $2 to $4 a reward, or that trade is not even worth it in my opinion, right? A swing trade. I'm not talking about investments. I'm not a financial advisor. I cannot advise you to take any trades on an investment side, or even any trades to begin with. So all of this is not financial advice, but the way I would take this position as a swing trade, as an intraday long, is only if it's able to hold and show me buyers above 22. Without that, it's a nepa. We're staying away from it for the long slide. Maybe some shorts open up, but with how strong Intel has been trying to hold this bottom over here, even the shorts look pretty stupid to look for. Not expecting the stock to go below 20 really. If you get short 22, maybe you get $20 as your target, but you know, anything more than that I think is crazy to expect also. So more so looking for a long than the short. Pretty clear level where we're gonna play with. S&P 500 took out the all-time high today by about $1.50, but didn't manage to stay above that all-time high, which was the trigger to get short. We were talking about this trade on Victor's stream today in the morning at 9 o'clock. Look at how that played out. Let's zoom into the chart a little bit. Okay, look at this. So this was the previous all-time high, the 565.16 area. We open exactly around that price. We wiggle a little bit back and forth. We bounce off of the last month's high. We go make a new all-time high. We look pretty bullish, but then we slam right back. Why? Who is really buying the day before FOMC? If you're buying before the day of FOMC, you're a little crazy in my opinion, right? You're a little crazy. So anyone who bought on this hold above the previous all-time high had probably their stops right under these areas. Once those stops started to get blown out and the sellers started moving their orders to the downside, you can see how this pop was violent, but that violent pop had an equally violent or even more violent sell-off. Bang! So violent pop and an equally violent or even more violent sell-off, showing you that there's a very active seller in this area, and that seller is now being aggressive. He's tired of seeing this action happening, and they are just slamming the bids to the downside. So you're watching the stock now create lower highs, lower lows, lower high, lower lows. Then we get under the previous all-time high and just struggle to print above the previous all-time high. Struggle to close above 565. What a beautiful range to get short in. Your stop is now basically 20, 30, 50 cents for the S&P 500. Whenever do you get a chance to have that tight of a stop on the S&P 500? Ideally, your stop if you're getting short 565 is 566, because if the stock makes a full dollar move above 565 after holding it under like this, then there is no more shorts. There's no more shorts. It could go into 565.50 and then turn back, and if you get stopped out over here, you're gonna be pretty upset. So ideally your stop is above here, your soft stop, and your hard stop was over here. So you have about $1 to $1.50 risk do you not get $1 to $1.50 reward, or even more than that? You get about $4 reward over here on that move to the downside. Risk to reward, that is all the name of the game is when you're a day trader. Even as a swing trader, even as an investment, all that matters is how many units of risk are you putting on the trade and how many units of reward you're getting. That's a secret formula, okay? So risking about $1. Actually, let's do this one instead, because this is a way better tool. Where's that tool? Where's the tool? I have it right here. Is this it? Oh, I'm short position. There we go. So throw in that tool, bring it into that price point. Your entry is somewhere in this range, so let's put it over there, and bang. So take a look at that. So your risk to reward ratio is 3.71. Anytime you find a trade with a risk to reward ratio of 2 or more, you look to take that. You got a 3.7, almost 4 risk to reward ratio trade being offered to you on the S&P 500 the day before FOMC, and this was the exact trade that we planned out on stream for you last night. So if you took opportunity on that and capitalized on that, shout out to you. Shout out to you for A, listening to the stream, and B, pushing the buttons, because just watching the stream won't make you money. You actually got to go out there and push the buttons yourself and you know, make the trade. So for making the trade, pat yourself on the back and congratulations. If you did not, keep an eye out for trades like these. These trades are wonderful. They give you insane risk to reward opportunities. Tomorrow, what are we expecting from FOMC? That is the main topic. So here is the interest rates probability calculator. Right now, we're coming in at a 67% probability that we're getting a 50 beeps rate cut and a 33% probability that we're getting a only 25 beeps rate cut. What is this showing you? That we're getting a rate cut no matter what. That has been priced into the market. Usually you get buy the rumor has been getting bought, and then at the time of the news, you get sell the news event. So I'm watching closely if the market at the time of 2 o'clock when Papa Powell releases releases the interest rate decision, we might get a big algo spike either to the upside or to the downside. That might get faded off eventually. But then the 2:30 move, those are going to be important, because what does Powell say at 2:30? Is he talking about more rate cuts coming in the future? Is he talking about, yeah, we cut the rates, but we are not afraid to hike it back? That's a pretty hawkish statement, right? Imagine cutting rates and then hiking it back, showing you that they screwed up, they are wrong, and the market is still in a scary position. It's not really going down in a way that they needed to see for the fight of inflation. But you know, now you lose faith in the FOMC committee, you lose faith in the Powell, you lose faith in the current running administration. That probably puts Trump ahead in the races a little bit more. I think Trump already went above on the races again after the debate numbers. After the debate, he dropped down, then he went back up, and now he's down again. He's down at 48% over here for Trump's probability. Ooh, what the hell? Closing poly market just crashed my whole computer. That was not fun. So watching how all of these events play out. We have election in November. We have another FOMC in November. We have a FOMC tomorrow. We have Powell talking at 2:30 tomorrow, and his comments are going to be heard throughout the world. So make sure you have your ears open. Make sure you're listening to what he's saying at 2:30. Is he being hawkish? Is he being dovish? What is his tone? And what are the questions that the reporters are baiting him with? And how does he reply to these answers? All of these will be very, very important for the market tomorrow. So gonna be fun, going to be fireworks. Make sure you're applying risk management. If you're taking a trade at 2 o'clock, usually at 2 o'clock you have a big spike in price, in volume, and everything. These are just algos. What the algos do is they have a preset condition. If rate cut is 50 beeps, buy this much. If rate cut is 25 beeps, only buy this much. If rate cut does not happen and we're hot and we're staying, sell off the market. There might be preset conditions coded into these algorithms that are all they're doing is they're listening to the number come in and they're acting quicker than a human might. You might first take a second to read the report. You might take another second to actually make the decision, and then another second to actually push the keys. While you spend these 5 to 10 seconds to analyze all that data has already been analyzed by the algorithm. So they're making wild moves right at 2 o'clock. I usually try not to get trapped in those moves by not trading it at all. I let those moves fizzle out and play out. You get a nice little top, a nice little bottom, easily defined off of the 2 o'clock move, and then 2:30 you can look to make the real trade as it pulls back and starts creating a good hold, or it pulls back and starts creating good resistance, and so on. So lots of opportunity setting up. QQQ, S&P 500, couple other positions that I would urge you guys to keep on your watch list. TLT, this is your 20-year treasury yield ETF. So TLT, GLD, another ETF. This is your gold ETF, which recently broke out to a new all-time high and has a pretty good top around 240 to keep an eye on. Bitcoin, usually Bitcoin moves around FOMC. If you don't want to directly go to the cryptocurrency market and trade Bitcoin, you can trade Bitcoin on the stock market by looking at IBIT, BITO, GBTC, and even MSTR. If you are interested to do that, I would suggest you to go look at IBIT instead, because it's a one-to-one relationship. Well, not really, but very close to a one-to-one relationship with Bitcoin. It is a Bitcoin ETF, so it should have a one-to-one relationship with Bitcoin, whereas MSTR, it should have a one-to-one. Sometimes it does, most of the time it doesn't. So you could get trapped up on this one, but IBIT, way better position to keep an eye on to trade Bitcoin moves based on the FOMC. So TLT, once again, TLT, TLD, the QQQ, SQQ, TQQ, SPY, SPXL, SPXS. These are all the same ETFs at the end of the day. Some of them are 3 times leveraged, 2 times leveraged, and then 2 of them obviously being the overall markets themselves. And then IWM, also something to keep an eye on. So these are going to be the ETFs that most likely I'm going to look to make a trade off of the FOMC, along with the large cap stocks such as Tesla. If Tesla is breaking out at 235 off of FOMC news, I want to be involved in that breakout. That breakout is going to be very, very juicy. So lots of fun setting up tomorrow. I wish you guys the best. Make sure, please make sure to apply proper risk management. Without risk management, there is nothing in the game. Yeah, the game is to make money, but the bigger part of the game, it's like when you really start playing chess. For me, example, right? When I started playing chess, I didn't know anything about it. But then when you start learning about the game, you go, oh my goodness, there's so many patterns that I have to memorize. There's so much this, there's so much that. Same way, once you start making some money in the game, you realize that the bigger part of the game really is to protect the money you've made. Protect the money you've made, because if you don't have enough money to play the next hand at the blackjack table, you're going home broke. You're going home broke. So make sure you're applying risk management, protecting the money that you've made, and also looking to make more money than you've already made, baby. Welcome to the wonderful world of the stock market. I've been your host, TraderPrad. I enjoyed today's stream. Hopefully you did too, and you're ready for all things FOMC tomorrow. Thursday will be our final stream of this week, and then we'll be back Sunday 6 p.m. Our schedule Monday to Thursday 8 p.m. and Sunday 6 p.m. Would love to see you guys coming in, joining us, bringing some stocks that you want me to take a look at, talk about levels, and getting ready for all things stonks. We got TH and Dieter saying goodbye. Thank you, lads. I love you guys every single day for coming in. Look, I know it's late. It's 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. There's much better things that you could do, spending time with your loved ones, your family, your kids. Instead, you're over here watching a random dude on the internet talk about stocks. It means the world to me. So thank you for taking some time out of your day to spend it with me. I would love to see you guys again tomorrow, 8 o'clock. Make sure to check out the links below in the description. My affiliate sponsors, shout out to Benzinga, shout out to Trader Sync, shout out to Trade Ideas, all the softwares that I use every single day to trade. those are the only softwares that I promote to you guys. So if you want to use the softwares that I do, make sure you go check it out down below. Dieter saying no love for me. Didn't I just click on this? I don't have loved ones, says Dieter. You have me, Dieter. I'll DM you right after the stream, okay? We can play cards together, or we could make music together, or whatever your heart desires, my love. Whatever your heart desires. But it's time for TraderPrad to head out. It's 9 o'clock. Time to do some dishes and all their fun stuff. Yay! And call it a night. Good luck on the market. TraderPrad out. Adios.
Get ready for trade off of. Get ready for the watch list for tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen. So I'm gonna bring in my big screen over here, back to another brand new week of After the After Hours with your host TraderPrad. I'm doing great. Hopefully you guys are joining me on that great side. Markets are moving around. Might just be a risk on type of day, so let's see what happens. 8 o'clock tomorrow. As you guys know, we do the stream Monday to Thursday, 8 p.m. Shout out to my affiliate sponsors, Benzinga, Trade Ideas, the #1 scanner to go to, Trader Sync, promo code down below, promo code PRAD15 to get 15% off. I will catch you guys tomorrow, 8 o'clock, same time, same place. Until then, TraderPrad out. Adios.